back of our minds, I think it was the first time that we actually wanted to just be able to hide behind the music for the first time, really. I think.
No, I think it's true. You know,
any other agenda. Really.
You know, it was just a relief that we were still in a band, functioning, still making music, which we thought was as good as anything we'd ever done. You know, as soon as we wrote for Design for Life, we knew we had it. You know, we had an album in us, and it was just that comes through on the record. That it's the most euphoric record we've ever done. You know, there's a sense of being uplifted with it, which didn't feel like that at the time, but it was just a subconscious thing that seeps through to the record. You know, we were just relieved to be still a band. So actually, the lyric was about 2 pages, wasn't it? It was really long, sort of stuck in the South Wales valleys, seeing communities being destroyed, sort of rant. And James did quite heavily edited on it, really. The first line was always "Libraries give us power," because in Pill, in Newport, there's a library, and on the front the actual front of it is "Knowledge is power." But all these most of these libraries were, you know, built by miners' donations. So it all kind of synthesized together, you know. It's the first time I really felt. Our class has always been in us, but it was the first time we directly talked about it in a straightforward way. And now the working class is I mean, it was kind of in the middle of Britpop, and it was almost chic to be working class, and a lot of people were trying to be working class when they obviously weren't. It was a very patronizing time, because people assumed that working class meant sort of thickness, taking drugs, you know, no intellectualism whatsoever. That's what the song was about, really. It's kind of taking working class culture back from the media and showing that it had a positive side as well as a destructive side.
Yeah, kind of when I wrote the song, and you know, I just remember thinking that I wanted it to be a cross between R.E.M. and just any old, you know, Morricone kind of thing. Just trying to splice the two together, really.
It's very rare he actually played me the guitar, sort of death march as it was described down the phone to me, you know, because he was so excited about it. So, you know, as soon as that was the point where we knew we had to continue being in the group, you know. A lot of it depends on the television, because that's where I get most of my inspiration from. So I could be watching, you know, something at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 11 o'clock at night, and whatever sparks off my imagination, really. It's usually from the hours till 10 to 12, or either that or when it's raining. I usually do it when it's either raining or it's dark. I'm not very good at writing lyrics in the sunlight. But, you know, there's no real structure. I do write quite a lot of lyrics when I'm flying, because I dislike it so much. That it gives me such a pit of misery that it kind of gives me inspiration.
It's this wet flannel song.
Whenever I'm on a plane, I always kind of I always take a wet flannel with me wherever I go, and if I'm ever feeling ill, I always kind of, James looks across and I'm groaning with this flannel covering my head. It's my little childhood sort of token. I mean, it's not somewhere, it's a completely mythical place. Australia is just the furthest place to go, you know. It's not that I went there, I went to Torquay on holiday, but that just seemed like it's a total song about running away and escape. And, you know, Australia, apart from Mars, seemed the furthest away place to go, really. Still haven't been there. Flight's too long. But, you know, it's a very simple song. Half of it was just because we wanted to get on the Sydney Olympics, really, and make loads of money.
No, that was probably like one of the simplest lyrics. In terms of it's just, you know, it's kind of momentary cure for feeling ill. Just putting a flannel in his head and just going the farthest way, you know, the farthest place away possible. So, like, you know, I just remember thinking, well, just try and make the music as if it can be played behind the goals on Match of the Day or something like that. That was probably one of the simplest forms of writing the songs on that album.
Yeah, I mean, Richie wrote these lyrics. Kevin Carter I wouldn't say it's an obsession, it was just something he was particularly interested in.
There's a slight correlation, like, you know, I suppose people would ask, especially after the Holy Bible, people would ask Richie, you know, do you think it's just as, you know, just as misleading to write about hate or anger as it is for, say, boys, or just write about love all the time? It's just as misleading. And like, you know, his thing was, that's what I feel, you know, what do you expect me to write about? And there was the same with Kevin Carter, you know. He was a war photographer and he got criticised for, you know, getting the Pulitzer Prize for an apparently an exploitative, like, you know, picture. But, you know, his, like, you know, his reasoning was, what do you expect me to take a photograph? Flowers? You know, I'm a war photographer. So it's just quite a simple metaphor.
And he killed himself.
He killed himself.
But I mean, the best thing about Kevin Carter is the trumpet solo, anyway, for me. We actually got Sean to finally, you know, get all that classical training out again, you know, and play a beautiful little trumpet solo.
That was definitely like one magic moment when he was recording in France. Because like we'd been nagging him to like, play a trumpet solo, and he wouldn't do it, and it took about a month to get him to do it. Then when he actually got around to doing it, I remember walking in as he was recording it, and it was just absolutely beautiful.
I don't find it hard to write songs at all. It's the one thing we've never had a problem with. I find it harder to go through all the rest of it, whereas before everything was a challenge and everything was a chance to get a point across. I think, you know, we don't write, I've said this, that we don't write about happiness because they're the only things left which are personal to us. Everything else has been, our history seems to be so public that the things at the moments of happiness I'd rather just keep to myself, really. And that's why the other stuff always comes out.
I think it's strange that people talk about Nick, so you know, or Richie's lyrics in the kind of in the negative sense to a certain degree. But I know, you know, myself and Sean, you know, when we get lyrics sometimes and we write the music to it, you know, we get a lyric like "Design for Life," I felt uplifted straight away.
I nicked it off my brother, who was a bit of a poet. He wrote a play called "Everything Must Go," and you know, at the time there was a lot of baggage going around. There was a lot of sort of people continually writing about Richie and his disappearance. And there's a lot of stuff we really wanted to escape from. You know, it's not that you forget something, it's just that you need to move on and you need to cleanse yourself. In a lot of ways, it's the most corny lyric ever, you know, we've ever written, because it's actually, you know, someone's talking to the fans, you know. It's just something that we had to write. It's the only way you can get a bit of understanding across, really.
We mixed that song twice, and the second time we mixed it, you know, just had to get the point across that we just wanted it to be an extreme record in terms of the mix. I didn't really care about, you know, any finesse in the mix, or, you know, didn't care about any particular detail just shining through in the music. Just wanted it to be, yeah, wall of sound. You know, I just wanted it just to be extreme, almost shit to a certain degree. You know, I like that sometimes. I like it when music is just feels like it's just got to overheat. You know, a lot of our music just overheats. You know, and that's why I wanted that song to be, because that's what we felt to a certain degree.
You know, there's a bit in the video, at the end of the video, when a cherry blossom tree is just shedding all its leaves, and that kind of summed it up perfectly, really. It's kind of shedding the skin. You know, that record was about shedding the skin. We've only got to look at the breakup of Yugoslavia and what's happening in Kosovo at the moment, and the fact that ethnic cleansing is still going on in the middle of Europe. You know, it's pretty, you know, no one does anything about it. Just took all the troubles in Northern Ireland, which you feel completely helpless about, and, you know, there's still an immense amount of human depravity. Just America itself, you know, America is Satan. Or that America disturbs me more than anything. People have always had this idea that, you know, we've always wanted to break America, and people still say today, and we've only ever done 15 concerts here in like 6 years. And most of them support Oasis. No desire ever to go there. I think you know, come back with a contagious bug of moralistic bollocks.
Well, I think I've become just an exaggerated version of my earlier self, really. Just obsessed with like writing songs for the band and just, you know, being in the band.
The band's still probably the most important thing in our lives, but only when we're doing it. You know, whereas before it was all-consuming. For me now, when I go home, it's not as, you know, I just got to step outside it, otherwise it kind of drives you insane.